I'm tired of failing. The last relationship that I had, hit me hard. I can succeed at everything else in life, and relationships are the one thing that I cannot succeed at, and I don't understand why. I don't really see the person that I could see myself with. I probably am not building the bond with anyone. I guess I don't really get close to anyone.
You're way over in the ethical camp. You just don't see much point in opening up. It sounds like you've never really experienced it, and that's the problem, is you have never really experienced the richness of human relationships. Hey guys, welcome back to I Wish You Knew. I'm your host, Adam Lane Smith. With me today is Emily. We're going to be talking through some of her challenges, probably attachment challenges. I don't know. It's my first time meeting her, and we're going to have a great conversation. I invite you to listen in, drop comments below, ask questions. We are here to talk with you. And today, I'm talking with Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
What is it that's bringing you in here today?
I've been watching all of your podcasts,
Cool.
and just trying to learn a ton, and learn a ton, and learn a ton.
I know what you mean.
So yeah, when you guys had the opportunity for someone to come here, I was just, maybe that could help me. Maybe I should do that. So
Awesome.
Here I am. Yeah.
What's the number one problem in your life right now that you're wanting my help fixing? And it can be anything.
I think taking that leap from, yes, I've learned everything I can learn, to now it's time to practice everything I've been learning.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest struggle. Yeah.
That's where most people get stuck. You can't intellectualize on your left brain. Your right brain doesn't trust the information. You have to have experiences.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do talk about that a lot. So it's like,
I do.
It's still
Yeah,
just
I hear you.
a struggle where it's like,
What experiences have you not had yet? What experiences are you looking for, or what are you wanting to overcome specifically?
It's this dopamine dominant brain that I have to work. I have to get better at this, and I have to get better at that. And I don't have time for this, nor do I want to make time for this, because I'm good the way I am.
Okay.
And so I know that there's more and that there's better with the connections and having people in your life. And I do everything on my own. So I do feel like a lot of burnout. But I absolutely refuse to okay, I know this could help me, but I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is really working for me, and I'm mostly happy. And I think that that's all anyone could really want, is to be mostly happy. So I'm mostly happy. So that's why I'm do I actually really want to make a sacrifice here to maybe gain something here? And the thought process is there. The action is not happening.
Hey guys, just pause for a second. I know that here on this program, we talk a lot about attachment issues and about fixing them and how great that feels. But I know that a lot of you in the comment sections have told me that you feel overwhelmed and intimidated at the idea of trying to go through and fix your attachment challenges. Some of you are in relationships and you don't know how to help your partner repair their attachment, share their feelings, and be more connected to you in a productive and loving way. For those of you out there who are struggling, I want you to know that we offer a special program designed to work with you on a strict schedule, even if you only have an hour a week. The Attachment Repair Program is designed to help us, all of us certified attachment specialists inside the program, walk with you through your journey on a measured step-by-step process for fixing your attachment issues. This is great for individuals or for couples who are wanting to overcome their attachment issues and never be haunted by those problems ever again. So if you're afraid of rejection, if it's hard to share your needs, and if you're feeling stuck and nothing else has worked, join the Attachment Repair Program today, and let's work together on building a great relationship for the rest of your life. 3 questions, and I'll take them in order. Have you identified your starting attachment style so far?
No, because I refuse to identify. But
Okay.
if I were to tell you anything about me, I'm oh, she's really avoidant. Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
but
So more avoidant tending.
Absolutely, yeah.
Any internal inferiority complex, any feeling like I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy of love, anything like that? Or is it more purely like, keep other people out, don't rely on people, don't let them in too
No,
much?
I absolutely think that I'm like, deserving of love.
Good.
But I guess where I struggle maybe is maybe I don't. I know I want it, but I don't want it at the same time.
Oh,
Which I think the trade off is scares me.
okay.
Um,
Weird question.
uh,
But I want to just hear what your answer is. You want it, but don't want it.
Mhm.
Is it, and I understand that, I hear that a lot. Is it that you aren't sure if you're going to get this much and then have to trade this much away to try to get that much? Is that what it is?
yeah, I think with anything there's a give and take, and
You're right.
I feel like in any relationship, and I guess the fear is that there's more unhealthy relationship than any healthy relationship. And in past experiences, I probably didn't have the knowledge or experience to have that healthy relationship or to build a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid that I'm going to invest this time, this energy, and anything else that comes along with it, and then years down the road or even months down there, like I invested this, and then they just it
Crap.
didn't mean anything to them anyways, and like so I think I'm afraid of being devastated because I lost something that I invested in.
Again.
Yeah.
Okay. I hear that. The way we fix that is to make sure your next relationship is your last one.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not invest anywhere that you aren't 100% for sure.
Yeah.
To get there, we have to make sure that you know how to, number one, gauge the investment in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and then how to have an ongoing continuous assessment, number two. And the third piece that's usually missing for a lot of avoidant people is they don't realize that they can actually do that with the other person. It's like an internal me alone process kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other piece that's missing. And that's actually going to be what really confirms that it's the right relationship for you. It's not you on your own trying to measure it. It's actually you and then the other person measuring and taking notes together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what to do about that. But I don't want to say, it's the way that you see if you're a right fit, but it's also the way that you become a right fit at
Mm-hmm.
the same time. The right person for you is going to measure openly with you and have those conversations, and then you guys adjust together as you go, and that will confirm that this is the right fit for you. But by being able to do that, they demonstrate that they probably are the right fit. Do you believe in soulmates or anything like that?
No.
Good. I don't either. I think it's crap.
Yeah.
I think it's crap. I think that there's probably millions of people out there that you're compatible with,
Yeah.
to be honest
absolutely.
with you. And we just have to find those people and filter properly so that you can really connect with one of them and have an ongoing connected relationship.
Okay.
In the past, in past relationships that you've had in general, have you had the dopamine cliff that you fall off at 5 to 7 months? Does the joy end for you, or do you tend to bond a bit? Maybe they fall out of love. What is it?
No, I think I've been lacking like the a lot of the skills that it takes to like to build a healthy, strong relationship. So and I probably am not building the bond with anyone. I guess I don't really get close to anyone. And I don't, I'm not that just I'm
I hear
gonna do
you.
my thing. I'm not really like I just kind of stay like, okay,
Doesn't
you do you, I do you, we work together, we got this. Okay.
Okay.
That's more of like a belief I have. So like,
Mm.
I guess I've probably left all the relationships I've had or told them to leave.
Okay, so you're the one that ends your relationships.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do invest in the relationship and then I'm like, okay, I'm investing this and I'm not getting anything out of it. And so it's like, okay, I've tried and I've tried and I've tried. And granted, now that I look back and now that I'm actually starting to learn more, because kind of what happened to me and what led me here is that like I was like, I'm tired of failing. Like the last relationship that I had, like hit me hard. Like I was seeing someone who's probably had a lot of avoidant tendencies, even more so than me. And so when that ended, that was probably the only relationship that I probably would have fought for. When that ended, I was like, okay, like I don't know why I'm failing at this. I can succeed at everything else in life, and relationships are the one thing that I cannot succeed at, and I don't understand why. So I went on this, I'm like, forget everything else, because I know the investment with the right relationship would pay off tenfold. But I think the odds of being in the wrong relationship, at least up until recently, my belief was that it was the odds were way more likely that I'm going to be in an unhealthy relationship. And a lot of that now that I'm seeing is due to my own fault. I didn't think I had any needs. Like, that's a huge one. I don't need anything.
Yeah.
And then after oh, okay, well, I'm not getting out of this anything out of this relationship. I'm doing more laundry, and I'm doing and I'm like, okay, I don't want to be someone's secretary. I don't want to be someone's housekeeper. So I'm like, all right, well, time to move on. So I never thought I need this and I need this. I didn't know how to communicate those needs. And I've learned so much already from you. So where I am today is not who I was even a year ago. Yeah. So, but I started I'm going to read every single book that I can. I am going to listen to everything. And I just, several books a week I'm reading on the subject, because I do know that having that right person, you can build something. Like, you have two people to build something beautiful versus just one person and the other person taking. And I guess that is what I really just would stay away from, because that's when I know it's always going to be just me trying to build something and not someone else just taking. And so that's kind of what's kept me. All right, well, I can't succeed in this, so I'm just going to keep going down this path until I finally just decide, no, I'm going to figure out what I'm doing wrong. There's so much information out there. I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And
you had a wake up moment from this last relationship.
Yeah.
What was so special about this last one that really hit hard? Because that can be a key to help us figure out how to help you bond going forward.
I actually I really think that he was someone that I could build something with. He had all the qualities that I admire in someone, and where the other relationships were kind of like, okay, yeah, like I put this effort in, and I don't really see the person that I could see myself with.
Do you, really quick, you said he was more avoidant than you this time. Do you tend to be with avoidant men? Do you tend to be with anxious men? Which
Absolutely no anxious.
No,
no.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, I actually really prefer avoidant. And I think I would just if someone just wanted to be around me too much, I'd be like, okay, this is too much. Just leave me alone. Okay. And I would say qualities of someone, and I really hate the word avoidant. I absolutely hate it. So someone who operates in the dopamine dominant, the part of their brain, they're going to be hard working. They're going to be, they're usually independent. They're going to be intelligent. I'm not saying that other people are not, but usually these are dopamine dominant qualities. So in their qualities that I really admire, they're logical, they're good with money, all these things that I think are these are really good traits. And I really like that in a person. Not the whole, I need this from you and I need that from you. And I really think I think that's unfortunate that avoidant attachment is demonized as much as it is, that people think that it's such a bad thing, when I really do see it as kind of it's a good, not the avoidant attachment, more the dopamine dominant is such a good thing, for me anyways, and not for everyone, because they are the people who are, leading you in the wherever you need in the workforce, in the army, and those are usually your people who are operating in that the dopamine dominant part of their brains. But I do think there's that need for everyone in it. Sometimes you mention the hunter-gatherer, and you have these people who are the nurturers, and I think there's a role for each person, and some work really, really well together, and they should stay that way. And I think it's more that they need to learn the skills that it takes to be in a relationship. You're not nurturing all the time, but hey, you need a pat on the back? Okay, I'll pat you on the back. I think that's a good thing.
I hear that. You are looking for a man, it sounds like, who's a high-performing man. Yes, he will tend more avoidant. Yes, he will have a lot more masculine traits. We call it almost like a hyper-masculine sort of focus. Avoidant people usually don't want to be called avoidant. They want to be called like survivalists, lone wolves. I hear that. I do, because it's what it's built for is hardcore survival. And if you're more avoidant yourself, you're going to be looking for a man who's going to augment your safety and survival in that capacity.
Yeah.
You did say in there that you don't want him to be chasing after you from needs and emotions and feelings, and I hear that, like an anxious person. What do you want to be to an avoidant man? What role do you want in his life? Are you wanting to just kind of be a companion for him on weekends? Are you wanting to be someone who steps more into that feminine role and calms him down in the evenings and rests him and helps him be more productive? What are you looking for? What would be ideal for you?
Yeah, I think those sound nice, because I do really get burnt out. I'm doing some of these things. I do believe in the masculine and feminine. I do want to spend more time cooking and cleaning, I do, and I am also mowing the lawn and shoveling the driveway and chopping wood, and I'm just like, by the end of the day, I'm just like, man, it would be nice to have someone that actually contributed in the household. So what would I bring to a relationship is someone who is in that more, we're that strong masculine. I could still be that feminine. I do want to be the person who they come home to and relax, and they would give me that the ability actually to relax, because I don't feel like I ever get that, because I feel like I am living in this survival mode all the time. I do have this fear of someone hurting me or something bad happening. If this happened, how would I protect myself? And I think to have a man that would be there, I think I could relax more in his presence too. So I think having someone with those strong qualities would allow me to relax more into my own. And I think it would make a really, really good fit for him to be able to come home and just, have that quiet, have that nurturing that I am capable of. It's just I don't have the opportunity to ever give it.
It's a luxury, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to be safe enough. The walls have to be high enough. The gate has to be locked. Can't be wolves circling around outside trying to eat you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And that's why I think you're seeking out these very, very masculine men who have avoidant traits and dopamine dominance and all of that. I agree. What we're going to need to do is make sure that you're pairing up with high-performing men. And that's really what we'll just push the avoidant thing aside, high-performing men. To pair up with a high-performing man who does at least have the insight about what you can even offer him. That might be part of the problem, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of these high-performing men, they have no frame of reference for understanding a feminine woman caring for them. They don't know what their needs are beyond sex, right? Hot meal and sex, and that's it. Get out of my face. Do my laundry kind of thing.
Yeah.
The things you've been exhausted by doing in the relationship. They don't usually understand emotional intimacy. That's usually that's the salary that the woman usually wants to be paid, is give me that emotional intimacy and that safety as well. The nice thing about avoidant women and high-performing women is usually you ladies are low drama, very low drama. Right? Because drama's death. So you're not going to bring a lot of drama to the table. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you bring drama to the table?
No.
Yeah, usually drama is pointless and stupid. You kick your own butt if you caught yourself doing that generally.
A waste of energy.
The challenge for most women like this, and let's talk about this, is up front on dates. These women are usually more closed off on the first few dates and a little more hesitant in letting the man kind of ask the questions, and then being a little more guarded with her answers. Has that been something that you kind of do on first dates? Are you more guarded?
I'm not really sure. I don't go on a lot of dates.
Okay.
So I don't know that maybe I am, but I do think a lot of people probably just assume I'm not interested, but
Yeah.
probably I'm not interested. So I don't know. I don't
Interesting.
know.
Okay. Well, where do you usually meet the men that you date?
I don't date.
You don't date. Okay.
No.
Where have you met the men that you have been in relationships with? How have you met those men? Are they friends of friends? Are they?
No, I've been on a dating app, so I met someone through there.
Okay.
And then I think, the last before that was work, and both two from work.
Yep. A lot of women date through their workplace because it's where you are all the time.
Yeah.
It's your social circle.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
So that's about it.
Okay. Another one that women often date through is like their community or their friends. Do you have a good friend network? A lot of women like this don't.
I have friends. I don't usually do a lot because I got a lot to do.
Yep.
But I have friends. I haven't met anyone through friends.
Okay. Do your friends know you? Do they really know yourself? Or does everyone know just a little bit so that no one can put it all together and use it against you?
No, I think they do. I think there's a lot of very superficial. And I'll tell you, like, some of the most tragic things that have ever happened to me, nobody knows. Like, I'll never tell anyone any of those things. And maybe they'll find out. And
At your funeral.
yeah, maybe something like that. But yeah.
Okay.
But so yeah, I might have one friend who knows quite a bit about me. But a lot of them, and I would still consider myself close to them. We just don't have any like conversations that are very deep. It's like, hey, let's go do something fun. Okay, let's go do this.
In what way is that close then? I'm curious. It's probably close for you from a frame of reference, but why would you say close?
I mean, I don't know. I guess I never really thought about it. I feel close to them. I feel like
Does that mean you trust them?
Yeah.
Is that maybe what we're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do trust them.
How far do you trust them?
It depends on what I would be asking of them.
Okay.
So, I mean.
Would you trust them to not use things against you if they knew things against you about you?
Yeah, I trust them in that.
Would you trust them not to reject you if they learned things about you or not pity you?
Yeah, I do.
Would you trust them to be fair and balanced in a transaction with you?
Yes.
Okay. If they could get away with taking from you, would you trust them not to do that?
Yeah, I trust them not to take from me.
You trust them ethically? Okay.
Yeah.
Then what has made you hold back on sharing things with them?
I just don't see the need. I just don't
purpose.
know what the point would be. Like, they got their own things that they got going on. And I don't really. I can handle things on my own, and I guess I don't feel the need. Like, I'm not going to talk about anything that's. This happened to me horrible. It's kind of like.
No point in crying about it.
I mean, it's like anything that's been bad in my life. It's always like, well, here's the bright side of this, So it's like, well, that sucks, but I'll get stronger from it. So,
gotcha. Okay. Do you think they would describe you as close to them?
I don't know.
Okay. That would be an interesting. If I give you some homework, that would actually be an interesting task just to go through. But I'd be curious to see because that might be. Well, let me ask a couple more questions before I just make blanket statements.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay if I just very gently, briefly touch on maybe family and ask? Because I know it's touchy. People are avoidant usually for a reason.
Yeah.
There's an environment we form in. It doesn't usually mean our parents are evil monsters or anything like that. I won't go there. But family, are you currently close to any family members?
I would say yes, but it's the same. Like, they really don't know anything about me.
Pretty much anything about you at all.
I mean, yes, they would probably think they know a lot about me, but I don't really tell a lot about me. So both, I think.
Are you afraid of bothering people with the things about you? Are you afraid that they'll be used against you or you'll be rejected? Or what is it? What's the holdback?
I wouldn't use the word afraid, but
concerned.
I think most of the time I wouldn't see the point. Like, I don't.
There's utterly no purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you in prior romantic relationships, have you ever felt really accepted by the other person, like they fully knew you?
Um,
Fully knew you.
no, I don't think so, except maybe the last one.
Mhm.
And it might have not have been because they opened up. It was maybe because I actually felt content.
Oh, content. Like
Yeah, and I
safe?
don't know. No.
Not safe. Okay.
No, I just felt like I don't know. I really don't.
That's okay. No, that's okay.
Yeah, you might have. I don't know.
You're no. I'm gonna lay it out. I see it. So we're digging something and on something really good. Was it maybe when you were with that person? Was there like a warm sensation in your chest? Did you feel relaxed in their presence? Did it feel like you weren't scanning for threats? Did it feel like
Yeah,
you could tell them more than you normally would?
yeah. I did. I trusted them in a way that they could. I knew that their feelings were real, even if they never expressed them, and so it was like this unspoken
Mhm.
feeling.
Yep.
But I never felt it's at the same I never felt just like not worried in a way, but I felt like maybe they knew who I was without me ever saying anything.
Okay.
And I don't really understand why. I just think there was this deeper connection where nothing had to be spoken.
Understood. Understood loud and clear. Okay. I've got some ideas. I'm gonna bring them up here in a second. Last question with that one. Earlier you said I thought, and then you corrected and said I think
Mhm.
that could be the right person for you. What made you think that was the right person for you?
Um, because they did have those qualities that I think like I don't want to talk in that thought because I
Past
still
tense.
do believe that any determination of a person, I stand by it most of the time. So like I don't usually have a lot of regret in a lot of the decisions I make because I do
Yep.
think them through thoroughly.
Yep.
So if I thought something, I'm thinking it currently, or I still have that belief. So if I think they're a good person, then I think they're a good person. Yeah.
Okay. I hear that. What was it that broke you guys up in that relationship? And just briefly, I'm sure we want to protect their privacy and everything. I hear that.
I couldn't really tell you. I just don't know. I think there was, he was a little more, had those strong avoidant tendencies.
Mhm.
And I think he was afraid of being too, I'm just telling you what I think. So
Yeah,
I
no,
really
please,
don't know
please,
the
by all means.
truth. I can tell you exactly what happened and it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
Okay.
Um,
How far were you guys in the relationship when it ended? Was it 7 months, 12 months?
Yeah, it was on and off all too many
It
times
was
to
on
even
and off too
know
many times.
how
Okay.
long it was. I think to see if we had gotten it probably was right around that mark.
Okay.
Yeah, it was probably around that
7
mark.
to 12, somewhere in there.
Yeah, but it was on and off, like I said.
Mhm.
So, but yeah.
Hey guys, just pause for a second. I know that here on this program, we talk a lot about attachment issues and about fixing them and how great that feels. But I know that a lot of you in the comment sections have told me that you feel overwhelmed and intimidated at the idea of trying to go through and fix your attachment challenges. Some of you are in relationships and you don't know how to help your partner repair their attachment, share their feelings, and be more connected to you in a productive and loving way. For those of you out there who are struggling, I want you to know that we offer a special program designed to work with you on a strict schedule, even if you only have an hour a week. The Attachment Repair Program is designed to help us, all of us certified attachment specialists inside the program, walk with you through your journey on a measured step-by-step process for fixing your attachment issues. This is great for individuals or for couples who are wanting to overcome their attachment issues and never be haunted by those problems ever again. So if you're afraid of rejection, if it's hard to share your needs, And if you're feeling stuck and nothing else has worked, join the attachment repair program today, and let's work together on building a great relationship for the rest of your life. The problem with two avoidant people is that there's not the glue that's supposed to be holding you guys together, so that you'll reach the end of the dopamine at 5 to 7 months, and then it'll be off and on and off and on, and maybe we should break up. Okay, well, no, maybe we shouldn't. Okay. And kind of like back and forth. Was it that, or was it more turbulent and more fighting? Was there yelling? Was it anything like that?
Fighting. It was not fighting.
No fighting.
No, it was kind of like, okay, it was silence. Like, okay, I can tell something's wrong. And all right, you're gone. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the double avoidant thing. There's very little glue holding them together. That's the problem.
I mean, I think I was a little frustrated, and when I'm frustrated, I'd probably just look out the window. It's like, okay, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to respond, so I'm just going to look out the window. And I think he tried talking to me, and
interesting.
And then he left. And then he just didn't come back.
Okay. And how long has it been since you guys were split?
Almost a year.
A year now. Okay. Okay. Do you guys still talk at all?
No.
No? Okay. Is that a relationship you would want to try to rekindle, or are you looking forward to something else? Just so I know where you're looking.
I mean, there's still a lot of love there. But whether, like, I feel like I did do everything that I could. I did reach out after he left. I said it was not a fight. It's like we had plans to go do something. The plans didn't work out. And it wasn't my fault. It was nobody's fault. The plans didn't work out. We were supposed to go shooting. And my parents end up, we're on our way over to help you do this. And I was like, shoot, I'm supposed to go shooting. But, and that was that. And it was like, it wasn't a fight. It was just like, okay, I was just like, all right, I don't know what to say. Like, my parents are on their way over. I can't go right now.
Okay.
And say, okay, well. So
understood.
Yeah. So it's kind of, I reached out afterwards, and
what did he do?
He responded, but he didn't want to see me. So I was like, okay.
Okay. Was it a forceful no, thank you? Was it blocking? Was it just, hey, you know what, thank you, but I'm not interested right now?
No, I think he might have been, but I just think he wasn't ready. I think I did send him one of your videos. I told him, like, I found this really interesting way that could be very beneficial. I don't remember one of your ways of speaking, and I really love the ways that you have to speak. I think I just really connect with those, and I do enjoy them. He responded. I was like, would you like to hear it? He said, yes, you can send it to me. And then I sent it to him, and then I waited a few days. And I said, it's been a little while, so I don't remember exactly. But, I asked him, he's like, well, I don't know. And then, okay, well, I don't know how many times I'm going to keep reaching out to you. So
Understood. Understood. Okay. Are you ready for what I think?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I think that you have not had oxytocin bonding through the course of your life. And this is pretty common for avoidant people. In childhood, for whatever reason, for a variety of reasons it can be. Sometimes it's really hurtful behaviors from parents. Sometimes it's just absence from parents. Sometimes parents have trauma. Sometimes, they're both working themselves to death 18 hours a week and you don't see them. You're raised by a nanny. I've had plenty of those. But for whatever reason in childhood, a person does not get the oxytocin bonding that they need. And their brain begins to block that and thinks other people are arbitrary, that they're not to be trusted. I can't reach out. There's no point in opening up and connecting to people. There's a variety of things that we can do. And we can build ethical avoidant where we just believe other people there's no point to these relationships or opening up. People get stressed out. I can't really trust them to open up anyway, so I'm just going to do my own thing, going down that spectrum toward more manipulative tendencies of as you begin to believe people are malicious and evil. I don't think this is you, but other people will be. They think that other people are evil, and they accrue more manipulative tendencies because they can say, well, you would do worse to me if you had the chance. So I need to survive and protect myself against you. And they view people as predatory. That's manipulative avoidant down here. And then off that spectrum is personality disorders and things like that. It sounds like you're way over here. You're way over in the ethical camp. You just don't see much point in opening up. It sounds like you've never really experienced it. And that's the problem, is you have never really experienced the richness of human relationships. So when you say there's no point in opening up, I hear that and I'm like, there's a tremendous amount of point. But you've never, ever felt that. And until this most recent relationship with this person, it sounds like to me what happened was, and this happens a lot, you got out avoided by an avoidant, and they helped you feel cared for. They helped you feel seen, visible, loved in some ways, and that started a release of oxytocin in you. When I said the word safe, I probably miscalculated. Avoidant people don't like that word safe because nothing is ever safe. But what happens is your sympathetic nervous system comes down in their presence. And you said it yourself earlier, a masculine man, they hold that frame so that you can be feminine inside of it. What that means is your sympathetic nervous system comes down, and then your oxytocin receptors, they're usually blocked like this. They're blocked. Instead, they open up, and you can start to release oxytocin and bond with another person. It's that warm feeling in the chest, but it's also feeling seen, feeling accepted by that person, feeling known by that person, and it's okay. Feeling like you don't stop worrying, but maybe you worry a little less. Maybe you sleep a little deeper. Maybe you just long for their presence. Oxytocin makes us feel compulsively affectionate. We want to give affection. We want to receive that affection as well. So we will, even a year later, still have that feeling. And for the average secure person, they grow up with so much oxytocin from both parents and then from grandma and grandpa and aunts and uncles and siblings, and then they build it into friendship, and they're known by their friends. And when something happens to them, they go and they seek connection with humans, because then they say, well, this happened to me and I'm not collapsing, but this happened. This was a painful experience. I am in pain. And the community comes around them and says, well, we still love you. And they come close to them and nurture them, and it releases oxytocin in the brain, which reduces pain, physical and emotional. It releases then, as oxytocin goes up, GABA. It's released, gamma-aminobutyric acid, which suppresses cortisol. So that person now, if they had a spike of cortisol and pain and stress, it gets crushed, and they actually feel in their nervous system, and their body actually calms down, and they become more resilient. This prevents things like PTSD from forming. Trauma doesn't really form into long-term behavior pattern or fear. Your nervous system is calmed and say, I don't have to feel scared because my group is taking care of me, and you feel safe. And then they help you sometimes solve problems or solve residual issues, or help you make sure it never happens again. So you're now safer in the future and more protected. So the purpose biochemically is to suppress cortisol, reassure that the pain will be less, and then actually make a plan to make sure that that avenue of getting hurt is actually blocked off. So you become, through life, more and more protected, not insulated, but more and more protected with the community, if that makes sense. Does this make sense so far?
Yeah.
And the biochemical markers that are there make you feel warm and snuggly and happy, and then it releases serotonin, so you feel that contentment. Like you said, you feel that deep, rich contentment, and you got a taste of it. It sounds like about this big.
Yeah.
Usually it's about this much, right? And it's just this overwhelming flood of it. So when you say, like, I don't know the point, that's fine. No judgment at all. Most avoidant people have never felt the point at all. But that is the point. That is the point for you, and that's that richness. So is this tracking so far? Does this make sense?
Yeah, I think actually that does make sense, because with him being more avoidant, I think that's why I was able to like relax into his presence a little more, because I felt like he probably took some of that responsibility of my stress away, where I could just really relax with him, and I felt that. Yeah, I felt just that content, not that.
And quite frankly, that's a man's job.
Yeah.
That is a man's job, is to provide that safety and stability for you. Someone along the line, many people have not provided that for you, but that is a man's job. So number one, there's our first criteria. Don't ever, ever, ever invest in a relationship where a man isn't minimum providing that for you ever again. Number one. Make sense?
Yeah.
Now that's the base minimum, and guys can make you feel that way at first and then duck out, but that's at least the base minimum. He has to provide that for you in the future. Perfectly okay to expect that. In fact, good men expect that you will expect it. So if you're not asking for that or requiring that, then that's a signal to the healthiest men that you don't know what you're doing in a relationship, and that makes you look like you're unstable or you're a red flag, you're confusing, you're settling for less, and they don't know why. So they'll back off from you and they won't offer that. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So expect it. You don't have, I don't say demand, but don't settle for anything less. Let them know, let people know that that's what you're looking for.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, just like you weren't aware of this until more recently, you can only be with a man who is also aware of this already. You can't be with a man that you're going to have to go out and try to educate him and be like, well, there's this nervous system and here's the parasympathetic. Watch this video of Adam. Now watch these 10,000 extra videos from Adam. Now, like you shouldn't have to go rescue a man and convince him that you have value before you do that. That's, what is that? In sales terms, that's called cold audience. You don't want to be selling to a cold audience of men who have never, ever, ever heard of emotional intimacy or oxytocin ever before. That's you're going to spend the next 50 years trying to convince some guy that's not going to work. Yeah. Instead, we need to go to what's called a warm audience. You need men who at least have some awareness that this exists already. I have hundreds or thousands of avoidant men flooding in right now that are learning this and growing. So there's a lot of men that have this awareness already. They just need some awareness. Okay. So you want to be selling this properly to a man who says, look, I want a woman who comes in who works with me to, he's not going to say safe, but works with me to build this kind of a connected relationship. I actually want the connection. He may not know the words yet, but connected, calm, peace, right? Did the man most recently that you were with, did he say he wanted peace? Did he use that at all? That's usually the word that more enlightened men will use.
I think the best compliment he gave me was, I'm too dependent on you and it scares me. And I was like, what?
That tells me you were doing your job in the relationship, the feminine job, very well.
Yeah. So, and I did take that as a compliment. It kind of confused me, but when he said that, I was like, oh.
Do you know what he meant now?
Now, yeah. And now I look back, I'm like, okay, yeah.
That means inside relationships, you do some things very, very well. You're doing your job inside of them. You're helping his nervous system come down. Avoidant women, again, low drama. Avoidant women, you come in, he doesn't have to be guarded and scared about you, and you're not going to jump at him and tackle him to the ground and cry and demand, a pony and a new car and everything. You're gonna work with him, so his nervous system will calm down in your presence. It's really initiating that parasympathetic nervous system, which you're going to have to be in to really draw him and invite him into that. You're going to have to spend more time in your parasympathetic nervous system with him. Higher oxytocin bonding, higher GABA, higher serotonin. There's ways we can help you get there now, actually, before you're with him. But you're going to have to be there so that you can pull him into that more, if that makes sense. The more that you're in it, the more you can pull him in. Now, we need a man who's not going to be resistant against that.
Yeah. I think I have a strong, and I learned oxytocin phobia from you, and I have a very, very strong oxytocin phobia where someone's even like,
so when you say like, what's the point in sharing with people? I actually wonder if it's even a little bit more than that. Like, that's terrifying. Even if people did accept you, it would be probably scary.
No, I don't feel that way. I really just feel like, the worst things that have ever happened, I'm just like, it's either that's life or, like, I need to do this anyways, like, so.
Dissociation from pain, and then you just muscle through. That's the avoidant brain is for that.
Yeah, and I think that's a great quality. So, like, why would I need to talk to anyone about something horrible that happened? I was like, I got this. Like, I'm pretty strong. I'm resilient, and I got this. So I really don't want that to change about me. When I speak of the oxytocin phobia, I'm more like, you're sitting too close to me. You want to touch me. Like, I don't trust you. What are you doing?
Did that activate with him? Did you have that with him? Or did you want the closeness?
No. Well, I think it was just close enough. I didn't change completely. I did actually flip a little bit anxious, or at least I think I did. And And again, that's why I was like, I don't know that I have an attachment, because I was like, I kind of thought that I could have been anxious because I was like,
no.
I cried.
Yep.
like I
It's
like
the oxytocin.
yeah.
That's the oxytocin. So you get the oxytocin, and it is highly addictive. It's already in you, and you already have an addiction to it. You needed it. You biochemically need it. Mice need it. Wolves need it. Chimps need it. Humans need it. It's something you need. You can survive shorter term without it. Your life quality and expectancy does go down. So let's fix it so you don't die young. But it is a biochemical need, and you're now aware of it. You can't turn it off now once you've activated it.
Yeah.
That's just why a year later, you're still remembering him, and you're still like, that would be nice. That's
good thoughts.
Good thoughts. That's what that is I would like more of that in the future. Perfectly natural. Now, it will make you feel vulnerable to that person. And the research is really clear on this, that if you have it with one person only, your fear level goes up. You actually get more like, I'm too dependent on you. That's what he was saying. I'm too dependent on you. I only have oxytocin with you. It makes me feel scared. It makes me feel vulnerable. It makes me feel, if something bad happened to you, I would actually be sad, and that's unacceptable in a survival circumstance. But, if you ever chose to use it against me, or if you went weird on me and you weaponized it, I would be vulnerable to you. Or if maybe I'd get distracted at a moment where I can't afford to be distracted, what the hell is happening to me? That's what he's saying. The research is clear that when you have oxytocin bonding with multiple people, the research seems to suggest 3 is optimal, 2 is okay, 3 is best. Which is why I asked about family and friends. You're gonna need to have this with family and friends. You're gonna have to diversify that so that you don't, number one, go out starving for oxytocin and go dating. It's like going grocery shopping while you're hungry. You're gonna need to have some oxytocin with 1 or 2 family members or friends. Friends is okay. If your family is not okay, selectively friends is okay too. But we're going to have to get you there.
Okay. So if you were to build that oxytocin bonding with a friend, because I don't know it in any other way other than a romantic relationship. So yeah, I talk to my friend. I don't really need to open up to them about anything.
You don't need to unless
you want to build oxytocin.
You want to build oxytocin, improve your immune system, improve your bonding hormones, improve your neurotransmitters, and then have a successful romantic relationship. You're going to have 2 good friends if you want a successful romance down the road. You're going to have to.
So with friends, it's opening up about...
Good question. It does not have to be traumatic pain in the past. That actually, sometimes that can be pointless.
Yeah.
This is not, I'm not going to say, okay, Emily, go home, pick a friend, take them out for drinks, and cry for 6 hours. Absolutely not. That is pointless.
Like, who is this?
Here's what it is, though. We need them to know you currently, and we need you to receive your brain. And it's going to sound like foofy flower language, so forgive me. But your brain needs to know that these people see you. They accept you currently as you are. They're not going to turn against you. They're not going to try to change you by force. They accept you for where you are, and that you can work together in confidence with them in the future. If something is dangerous, if something is frightening, you can go to them for assistance, and also that they can come to you for mutual assistance as well. That needs to be on the table, but we need to remove any variables that might make you feel like, well, but if they knew this thing, or if they knew this other thing, or if they heard this thing, or we need to remove that piece. And that's what the oxytocin kind of is for, is removing that, so that you say, if I had a need, they would come to my aid and assist me, be out of affection, out of kindness, out of warmth. I know, and you're smiling. I know the skepticism.
Well, I feel like I don't need to go to them for anything. They're going to need to come, or they're going to want to come to me, and I want to be the person that can be strong enough to, when they come to me.
Are you afraid they're going to lose respect for you if you're less perfect on the outside? Or that they'll pity you?
I don't know what I'm afraid of. I don't know that I feel like I'm afraid of anything. I just feel like, I got to be the one who does this. I got to be the one who does this.
Why?
And
why do you gotta?
Yes, that's just I was always older than all my friends, and so it's like, who's gonna be the DD? I have to be the responsible one. I have to make sure that they stay safe.
Okay.
I still want to have fun with them, but I have to make sure if something bad happens, I'm aware enough to know what's going on around me around us to be the one that makes sure that everyone else is okay.
Sure.
And I guess like I'm okay with that because I feel like I'm good at it. And I don't mind that. And then maybe they are able to relax a little more and enjoy, like, and I say use drinking as an example because I think of that often where it's like, oh, you gotta be careful.
I want to ask you two things then. Is it okay if I dig on this a little bit? Okay. So there's something called reciprocity in human relationships. We need reciprocal relationships, that we are not a charity case. We can't be overgiving because we get resentful, but if we're undergiving, we actually start feeling very uncomfortable. And healthy, secure people and avoidant people actually as well, interestingly, it makes their skin crawl to be perceived as a charity case. They don't want it. Now, the unhealthiest people are totally fine with it being unbalanced in their favor, and they're very comfortable with it. So if you build relationships that are very, very non-reciprocal, like that, where you're giving and you're the strong one and everyone else can put upon you in that way, but you don't reciprocate that to them and allow them to give to you, the mostly people you're going to pull in is going to be the unhealthy people that want it unbalanced in their favor. And the healthiest people are actually going to pull back. So when I asked earlier, do you think they would call you close? They might say, well, she's really kind to me, but there's a wall and I don't know how to get in there. I don't know if we're close or not. I don't know what she thinks of me. We signal trust to people by opening up to them. We signal confidence in them by opening up to them. And when we close off like that, we either signal disinterest or lack of trust. And the signal that's sent is, I don't trust you. I don't accept you. I don't think that you're okay for me, so I will keep you out. That might be what you might be accidentally sending that signal to people. If you were in a situation where someone was always the strong one for you, always the smart one, always had the answers, always was holding everything down, but never opened up to you about their challenges ever, and it was one-sided in your favor continuously, how comfortable would you feel?
I really try to accept everyone. So it's like,
Sure.
like,
But how comfortable would you feel if you were always being given to by that person and you never knew what they wanted in return ever?
I guess I've never put myself in that situation.
Right. And why not? What if you didn't know their motives at all?
Is their motives for
being that kind to you?
I wouldn't let them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that is over time going to potentially limit some friendships and relationships. You're either going to be limited to people who pull back and they actually will stop bringing their problems to you, is sometimes what they'll start doing, where they won't bring challenges to you, the healthier people, because they feel so bad and they'll be confused about it. Or the unhealthy people will bring all their problems to you and dump on you, so that you get a lot of drama in your life. But the the healthiest people will pull back, and that will start killing relationships. They need reciprocity from you for them to maintain it. They actually need you to open up about challenges, not crying about the past and things that can't be changed, but today, where you're at today, what you need today, showing them a little openness in that regard so that they know that you are telling them they're worthy of trust. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Trying to think of ways I could do that.
I'm going to show you. No, I will show you, because it's not something you've ever experienced before, and you didn't experience it much in childhood either. So I have 5 kids, and I'm training them on that right now, of what reciprocity needs to look like. What's fairness in a relationship? What is generous reciprocity, where you care for each other and you give abundantly to each other, and you ask for something, but you don't ask, you ask for less in return. You ask for less and you give abundantly. And when both sides are doing that with each other, oxytocin makes that possible. It actually compels you to be affectionate and to give in abundance. And it compels you to want to be fair to the other person. It's the biochemical that makes us in some ways be a little more ethical with the people around us, because we care about them. So we want to take less from them, and then we want to give more to them, even to the point that they've done interesting studies where they take dads with their newborns and they measure how affectionate and playing they are with the newborns before. Then they squirt oxytocin up half the dad's nose and then measure it afterward. And the dads are way more caring and playful and interactive after the oxytocin. It makes you be affectionate to the other person. So we want to inspire this in other people. in the right people, and then we want to inspire it in you for those right people because they're waiting for that signal from you. And if you're not doing some of that with them, the message is, I don't like you. I'm not really into this thing. You're close. You'll say, yeah, we're close. And they're like, she thinks we're close? That's all. I'm glad. But
I responded back to their text. Yes, we're close.
She barely responds to my texts ever. I don't know.
We're pretty close.
I don't even know what food she likes to eat. But I'm glad she thinks we're close.
That scares me when someone knows that they remembered how I like my coffee.
See?
I'm like, then I start to feel like a bad person because I don't remember I don't remember this stuff about them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Why does that make you a bad person?
Because I think I do have really good people in my life and they want to do nice things for me.
Okay.
And they do remember those things and
you shoot them if they try?
I've really been practicing this. So I'm not really good at this either because it's like, oh, you want to hang out? Okay, well, you can hang out with me if you really want to, but I'll be working while we're hanging out. Mm-hmm. And I feel guilty because it's like I'm not being a good friend. Or they'll help me with something. So I do let people help me as I'm working on it. Okay. I struggle with it because
they're trying. They're really trying.
It's really hard. Okay. And
it is.
And they'll reach out to me and say that, I've been thinking about you, and I'm like, why?
Yeah. Which of my organs are you trying to take? Yeah.
Like, is there something wrong with me? Why are you thinking about me? Like,
this is going to have to be fixed for you to be in a relationship. And you're going to have to practice it on lower difficulties with friends instead of jumping into a romantic relationship. Because number one, what you're going to do is jump into a relationship with a man who doesn't want to give to you and doesn't understand emotional intimacy. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to jump in and try to be struggling through this with him, and he's not going to know what signals you're sending. But the biggest thing I'm hearing is that you don't know how to collaborate with other people to actually work on this together. So the biggest thing with avoidant people, survivalists, sorry. The biggest thing with survivalists is they do exactly what you're doing. Like, you want to hang out with me, and then they start running a calculation in their head. They go inward. Instead of openly kind of talking it through, they go inward and say, you want to hang out with me, but I have a lot of work to do. I'm going to have to be working. You're going to think that I'm upset at you, or I'm going to be a bad friend, so I'm disrespecting you, so maybe I should just shut this down and not meet with you. And then the only thing they verbalize out loud is, not today, sorry. And then the other person has said, hey, can we hang out? Not today, sorry. And that's all they hear over and over and over and over and over. And so all they hear is this endless message of no, 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 no. They don't hear all of the inner work. If they heard that inner process, they would understand you. They would actually feel loved, even by being included in all of that you're considering them. And then they'd actually have input and be able to say, I understand you're busy. I would love to just be near you. Let's just share space, because that actually would satisfy my need to share space with you, and then get lunch with you when you're ready. That's all I need. So yeah, by all means. Or can we pencil in a day when you're not going to be busy, when you might have 2 hours, just 2 hours to hang out? I want to be sensitive to your schedule as well. Externalizing that context is crucial. So when I say opening up to people, that right there actually is a big part of it. Is instead of going inward and making a silent decision and only informing them after the decision's made, it's actually saying, okay, you want this. Here's a confounding variable. How can we fit these things together? And allowing them into the decision process. They don't make the decision for you. You don't surrender, but you allow them into the decision process, and you think out loud a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, actually, I couldn't agree more with it. Like, I'm always calculating in my head, like, well, if I give up this time for this time, and then even though I enjoy my time with my friends, that means my to-do list is going to get longer. And it's not that I can't, and I should prioritize them. I know that. Like, I know some of the things on my to-do list I put on my to-do list that I could, but I'd struggle with taking off my to-do list because I have a lot of priorities and I'm not prioritizing them. And that's where that guilt comes in, because I'm always calculating that, well, this is how many hours I have to here, here, and here. And there's really just not enough hours in the day for me to do it all.
And your brain is not, here's what's the killer. Your brain is not prioritizing your relationships because when you have low bonding and low oxytocin, you enter a very mechanical state and you deprioritize relationships. So then it just gets worse. It enters this downward spiral. Your brain has been in a perpetual downward spiral. To get that fixed, we actually need to bond you with those people and connect you. And it will actually be easier because then your brain will prioritize those relationships, which might even sound scary because then you're like, well, then I'm just going to drop everything in my life and I just become a social person. My life is ruined. No, it's you will properly prioritize it. But the best people in your life will say, please balance our friendship so that your life is good. And if I can facilitate you in your life in some way and then help you prioritize me as a friend by helping balance, then I win and you win. So let's take care of it together. Building those mutual arrangements is actually what allows you a huge range of additional options you didn't have before. It allows you tons of resources. It allows you help. And they feel gratitude that they have been allowed to help you. Now they don't feel like a charity case. They don't feel like you've pitied them. They don't feel like they're sucking you dry. They don't feel bad, and they can with confidence now ask you for things and then give to you. The more I give to you, the more I can ask from you, and in an open, transparent kind of way, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I could say something like, I'd really love to hang out with you. I have this and this to do.
Yes.
Is there any way that we could do this?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly. Hey, that whole thought process you just described to me. Hey, you know what? I get really busy. I deprioritize relationships, and then I feel guilty about that. And I really care about my friends. Actually, that right there would be a great conversation to go to a friend and have proactively. And
that I could do because I usually it's doing stuff, and I know I lose people that. Hey, let's go do this. Hey, let's go do this. And it's just like, it's not that I don't want to go do those things. And I think eventually they fall off because they don't want to ask again. Yeah. And sometimes I'll be like, I got this, and this to do. And that'll be my response. Yep. And then they'll just say, okay. And then I'm like, well, why didn't they offer to help me? And then we could have gone into, even though it's my responsibility to do that. But it's like, hey, you need to do this. I need to do this. Let's both do this. And then we go have fun.
The best way I've been able to describe this is when we were kids, we were in school and our teacher in third grade was teaching us math. And my teachers would yell at me all the time because I'd do the math in my head and then I'd just write down the number. And they'd say, Adam, show your work. And I'd say, why? I can just do it. And I'll never forget, I had an amazing teacher in fifth grade. His name was Mr. Courtney. And he said, Adam, he finally explained it to me in a way that made sense. He said, Adam, when you do it in your head and you give me the right answer means nothing. It means nothing because I don't know if you guessed and just got it right. Maybe you guessed on all of these and got it right somehow. Maybe you don't know how to do it. You just guessed. Maybe you sort of know how to do it, but you're going to get messed up. You got lucky. Maybe you copied off of somebody. He said, I have no idea. When you show your work, it actually shows me how you're thinking. And then as your teacher, I can correct your thinking, but I can also verify that your thinking is correct and that you can do that. Then I can predict that you're doing right. And I'm so grateful to him to this day because that's the same thing in our relationships. If you just give them the answer, even if you give them all the right answer, they're still nervous because they're like, well, is she a good person? Or is she like pretending to be a good person? I don't really know her thought process on the inside at all. But when you open up like that, hey, you know what? I really want to prioritize you. I get so stuck and I run myself down and my schedule is fuller than it probably should be. And I'm trying to figure out how to balance this. It's really a challenge. So I would love to spend time with you in the future. Is this time good for you? Rather than today, could we do it Thursday? Having that open conversation shows your work. And not only does it, yes, it's a good answer, but it calms them because now they can understand how you think. And then they don't get bruised because when you say just no, it bruises them. That's hurtful. And you don't mean to be, but it's just a no. I have this. I have this. Yeah. What you're saying is you are less important than that and I don't care.
Yeah.
And if you say that 15 times, they're like, she doesn't want me.
Okay, I
she
get the
doesn't like
point.
me. I'm out. And you're like, why are they gone? We were so close. And they're like, she hates my guts. She's not interested. We were never close. I think that's what's happening. And if you can fix this, here's the homework I'd like to give you is this. So far, we're going to get on romance here in just a moment, I swear. Okay. But this will help you inside an intimate relationship as well. I would recommend pick 2 friends.
Mhm.
Pick 2 friends that you feel that they have good ethical character.
Mhm.
They're not going to use this against you. They're not going to, laugh at you, whatever it might be. Pick 2 good ethical friends and go to them and have this conversation. I'm realizing that I don't really open up to people about my thoughts. And I'm realizing that I deprioritize my friendships because I'm so focused on tasks and surviving and stress. I don't like that. And I need some help overcoming it. And I need some help, some patience, and some understanding. I'm telling you so that you don't misunderstand and wander away or think I don't like you. And I'm telling you so that when I then have conversations with you, you'll understand the context going forward. If you ask me to spend time together, in the past I would have said no because this and this. If you need more context, ask me. If you want me to make a shift, you're welcome to ask me. And if I'm kind of distant and you don't know what's going on, ask me questions. I'm also, from my side, going to be trying to make more effort to explain more, to open up more, to give you more options, to let you know I am busy, but I can do this. Can we do this for our friendship so that we don't lose each other? And you might be cringing right now thinking about this.
No, I
Sounds
like
good?
it. I never thought of it as an option. I thought I just have to work harder so that I have more free time.
That's the
And
trap. That's what's going to kill you in
yeah.
every relationship is that. And when you get into romance, that's exactly it too. When you're frustrated and you just look out the window and you're like, that's you saying, I can't work with this man. I'm going to do this. And I can't work with him.
Yeah.
Inside relationships, he will be the right man for you when he tries to work with you on these things. That is the biggest signal. Okay. Something will go wrong or something will be off and he will come to you and say, there's a challenge and I want to work on it with you. And he's going to take his own side and say, this is what I need to do. And here is what I need from you during this process. Can we do this together? That will be the right man for you. Okay. When I say there's millions of them who can do this, that's that. Now, to signal to him in advance of this that you're the right woman for him, you need to be doing that with him during the dating process, during the early conversations. Hey, you know what? I'm really sorry. I'm going to be 5 minutes late. Is that okay for you? Can we agree to move it? Instead of, well, I'm going to show up 5 minutes late and apologize and I'm going to, I'll offer to buy his dinner. Or, hey, I'm going to be 5 minutes late, hope that's okay, right? Like, hey, I'm going to do this. This is a challenge. Or, hey, I want a long-term committed relationship. Is that what you want too? Being that open and in conversations, laying things openly on the table and being calm, collaborative. If you find yourself trying to make a decision on the inside without his input, that's where you're failing the relationship. If he's making decisions silently on the inside without open and communicating with you and getting input, he's failing in the relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's the avoidant trap right there. Okay. That's the signal that he's going to be right for you. And if that's what you guys are doing, hey, there's a problem. And before I make a decision, I want to bring this to you and get your input. Here's my thoughts. Here's this. Here's this. What are you seeing from your side? What are your thoughts? What's a good decision for us to make together? That's any 2 human beings who do that can pretty much make a relationship work. And that's the magic. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to do that if you just try to jump into a relationship and do that. The pressure will be too high. You need to practice that with friends first. As you practice that with friends, your oxytocin will go up. Your demeanor is going to change. You're going to be a little more bubbly on dates, a little more relaxed. You're actually going to start asking more questions on dates. And those questions you ask are going to be signaling to him that you're a person who asks questions, which is good because avoidant people don't ask questions unless it's like, I need crucial data. I need data, just enough data for my decision. Asking more questions, giving more context, you're going to be a little more open with people than you normally would be. You're going to provide a little more context, which is an invitation for him to ask questions too.
Yeah.
And then you're going to give fuller answers. I know it's nerve-wracking. I know your security clearance is going to relax just a little bit. This is how you're going to signal to him, and then this is how it's going to go great during the relationship. But you got to practice with friends first, and get your hormones up.
Yeah, I am smiling because I see everywhere I'm going wrong because I really didn't ask questions. I just thought, you know what? If it's important enough for them to tell me, they'll tell me. I'm not going to ask any questions.
That's where you're going wrong. That's very much where you're going wrong. Ask more questions. Healthy people want you to. They take it as a sign of interest. They take it as a compliment. They take it as you are curious about me and you're telling me I'm worthy of your interest. That's amazing. And they take it as a sign that like during hard times, then you're going to ask me questions instead of going internal and doing that. I'll never forget one of the times that I was in a really deep stress pit in my brain. I've been married 16 years, and my wife just came to me like in a day or two pretty quickly and was like, okay, you seem really stressed. I just need to know two things. One, is it me? Or number two, is it work? And I was like, nope, it's work. And she said, okay, cool. I can relax. I know that you're not mad at me. Now, second thing I want to ask you, how can I help you? What do you need? I can't take your tasks from you, but what can I do that will help you or reduce stress? What can I do to assist you during this time? And I said, oh, I didn't think about that. Here's a couple things. She said, cool, I will take those on. That will free up, an extra hour a day for you to breathe. Go outside, take walks, go get back to your normal life, get some sunlight, breathe, eat a better meal, whatever you need from me, let me know, and we'll do this. And I was like, amazing. Now imagine if she had just sat there and said, well, when he needs something, he'll ask me, or he seems stressed, I don't want to bother him. And she just looked out the window, right?
Yeah, I mean, that seemed normal up until now.
I know.
For me.
And
I was like, oh,
that's
I
how you've
need something,
survived.
They'll tell me.
That's how you've survived. That's how you've survived. Is this making sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Start by asking your friends for help with this. You can actually ask your friends for help fixing the friendships. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Relationships should be collaborative like that. In the future, when you have a boyfriend, you can actually say, third or fourth date, you could say, I just want you to know, in the past, I have tended to kind of go internal and try to fix things on my own. And I don't want to do that, right? You don't have to go into grueling detail. I don't want to do that anymore. I really want to work with you. So if you ever see me getting really quiet and looking out the window, right? That's going to be that's going to be the term. If you see me getting quiet and looking out the window, or I'm stressed, but I'm not talking about it, please just ask me. And that will jog me, and that will remind me that I'm supposed to be talking, and then I want to. And from that point on, it's my responsibility. Then I will talk more, and I'll ask you more questions. But please just be my spotter, right? It's at the gym, if you're lifting heavy weights, you got a spotter so you don't on your throat. Be my spotter. And then you say, what do you need me to be your spotter for? What relationship behaviors do you want to keep an eye out for so that we don't accidentally screw anything up? And he'll say, oh, you know what? I do that too. I overthink. I get in my head. If you ever see me overthinking, and women always do, if you ever see me overthinking, women spot this a mile away, and I'm in my head and I'm buzzing, call me out and let me know that I'm in my head. Ask me some questions and kind of just let me know that let me know it's getting a little much. And then you should. Make sense? That's how you as a feminine partner can also really guard him and spot him. Women are very hyper attuned to those emotions that man is feeling. I'm sure you knew when that man was stressed out, right? But you could probably smell it and detect it in the air before he even knew it.
Yeah.
Letting him know, just like my wife does for me, letting him know, buddy, you're stressed. And I just need to know, are you mad at me or are you mad at work? Or are you stressed by work? No, it's always work. Okay, it's work. No problem. Cool. What can I do to help? Right?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
If you don't ask questions, though, that's going to fall apart. And he's going to say she doesn't care about me. She just pulled away. She's mad at me. Or she doesn't even really care. When I get stressed, she's not there for me. Or you're going to get really nervous and anxious and be like circling around like, what's up, babe? How you doing? Like anxious people do. That's gonna turn you to that anxious approach where you're just like poking and prodding, and stressed people don't like to be poked and prodded. You don't.
No.
Okay, cool. Ask for help with your friends. Do that with two friends. Start moving forward like that. And then every time, what's great is you're going to, when you have that conversation, what's amazing is your cortisol level is going to go up. You're going to be, right now, you're like, yeah, that sounds good, Adam. And then after this, in an hour or two, you're going to be like, that man's an idiot. Like, I'm not going to do that. That's going to ruin everything. It will. And your cortisol will go up, and you're going to be like, kind of nervous to have the talk, and you're going to think of all kind of reasons not to have those conversations with your friends. And you're going to do it anyway because you sound tough, which is awesome. I like that. You're going to do it. And you're going to get through it, and you're going to release a flood of oxytocin and serotonin into your brain at the same time. And at that moment, you're going to go, oh, that's why Adam wanted me to do this. Because you're going to feel cared for, accepted, loved, all those gross feelings words that we use. You're going to feel those things, and it's going to feel pretty good. And then what's really special is as you go forward and you do that with your friends and they say, hey, can we hang out? And you go, oh yeah, the thing. And you're going to say, well, I would, and you say, I would really love to hang out with you. And, not even about, and I have all these other things on my plate. I'm not sure how to balance it, but I do want to see you. Do you have any ideas of how we could balance that out? Could we meet for 45 minutes and that's all I've got? Is that okay? That's really all I've got to offer you today, but I would love to give that to you. Or should we wait till Thursday when we have 2 hours? Or what's comfortable for you? Showing your work out loud. When you do that, you're going to be a little nervous, and then they're going to respond, yeah, 45 minutes would be great. Or, hey, you know what? If you're stressed today, I don't want to put stress on you. Let's wait for Thursday. That's great. And you're going to go, wow, they worked with me. And your brain will release more oxytocin and some vasopressin and serotonin as well, and some dopamine. You're going to get all of it, and it's going to start feeling good. And every time you solve problems with people like that, your brain's going to get better and better and better. And your brain's going to settle for, it's not going to settle for less than that. You're not going to get into relationships that are cold and isolated anymore. You're not going to do that because you're going to be like, well, dang, I don't want my boyfriend to be more distant than like these two friends. Like I want him to be like closer and more communicative and more connected so that we can solve problems. This will become friendship. The healthy friendship will become normal. Therefore, your romantic expectations will become more normal and healthier as well. And then as you build into it and continue that openness about working together, everything gets so much better. Does anything I'm saying here sound stupid?
No, I like
You
it
can tell
a
me
lot.
if it
No,
does,
no,
if
it
you're
sounds very
skeptical.
doable.
Okay.
I think my thoughts prior were not the greatest.
That's okay.
Like,
You didn't know anything.
No, I am excited. Actually, I'm excited to try these methods because there was a lot of guilt because sometimes I wanted friendships, but they were, in this horrible word to use, but like a burden.
Yeah.
And then because I am trying to carve out time that I don't have, and I didn't know how to respond properly to, hey, the responses you just gave. And then I'd feel, if I went and hung out, gave all this time, then I'd almost feel resentful sometimes because I'm like, I just gave all this time. Now I'm more frustrated. Now I'm more behind on my to-do list. Now, and so I'm excited to try those because I think they would work well, and
Yes.
I would feel those good feelings, or the good feelings that I want. They are good feelings that I want.
Most of my closest friends are avoidant men. And one of them said something that's always stuck with me. He said there needs to be a fair exchange of value. In any relationship, there must be a fair exchange of value. And it's true.
Yeah.
Right? A man's not going to be with a woman who just takes from him and gives nothing, and that's not you in general. And a woman's not going to be, hopefully, with a man who takes everything from her and gives her nothing. And friends, if for a real friendship, one of you can't be taking, the other one is exhausted and running to the ground and getting nothing from it. That's not actually a friendship. That's a parasitic relationship is what that is. You don't need parasites. And the best people in your life don't want to be parasites. That's why they might back off. That's why you might lose them. You need to be getting fulfillment, and those chemicals should be flooding through you. And to do that, working openly with them, making sure they're being considerate of your feelings, showing your work, being accepted, and feeling that love and connection, that will help. The chemicals is what's missing for you. That will flood you, and it'll feel really good.
Okay.
Wonderful. That'll help, and the relationship will go forward. Is there anything that would stop you from doing this? Anything that would prevent you from doing this bonding?
No.
Good.
I don't think so.
Sounds like you're ready then.
Yeah,
I
I've
love
been
that.
ready. I just
Love
been
it.
ready.
Go have those conversations with those two friends. If you find a boyfriend down the road, have those conversations with him. Have it with him fairly quickly. Earlier in the relationship, the earlier, third, fourth date, somewhere in there. Have those open conversations about the challenges and then how to overcome them together. And then ask a lot more questions earlier in the dating process, especially more personal questions. Get to know them. Curiosity is best. Curiosity is a sign of interest for friendship and for romance. Keep asking. Keep opening.
Okay.
Any other questions? Anything we haven't touched on?
So if we're talking now leading into like a romantic relationship, because I think a big concern is like the amount of time I have to invest into a relationship that's going to fail anyways, because I think there's a large amount of romantic relationships that, especially dating, that end up ending anyways.
98%.
Yep. So what are the important questions that I need to be asking in the beginning, or things that I need to be watching? There's like, is this person worth my investment?
100%.
Yeah.
No, great questions. Specifically, what you need to do is check his references. So what relationships does he have in his life? What friendships does he have? A really great question that I encourage women to ask men is, who holds you accountable in your life? Who holds you accountable, or who helps you be your best self? That's a really important question. Who helps keep you honest is another good question. Who's helping you grow is a good question in his life. Who is most important to you? Ask about his relationships. If he has nobody, He's like, I don't have any friends. Yeah, I was raised by my mom and now she's dead. Yeah, I don't really like talking to people. My last relationship was like 8 years ago, and since then it's been nothing but one night stands. Probably not the right move for you. If he says, hey, you know what? I've got this great buddy that I meet for coffee every Saturday, and we check in with each other and we hold each other accountable. We laugh at each other and yell at each other, but we make each other be good. I have this men's group I'm a part of. I have my sister. She's amazing. I have these relationships. I have my son or my daughter I check in with. It's so wonderful. We really connect. I used to be much more disconnected from people, and I've really learned the value of those relationships. So I pour myself into them. These are good answers. Okay. So check his references, ask about his relationships. It's the number one thing I can tell you. Number one. Number two, asking him, how do you resolve problems in relationships? Asking him that, frankly, honest. Yeah, exactly.
I just worried these questions would rule me out too.
No, well, and they might.
Yeah.
So right now, today, maybe.
Yeah.
But you're going to start making differences with your friends. So how do you resolve issues? Well, I talk to the other person about it, and I let them know what's going on with me, and I let them know that they're important, and then we work together to find a solution so that we can spend time together. That's going to be your answer as of tomorrow or whenever you do the homework. Your answer changes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. My answer 6 months ago would be like, what issues?
There are no issues here, right?
Everything's
Don't ever
great.
ask me that again. It's already changing. So
Yeah.
if you don't like the gaps in your resume, that's a really great thing to look at and change.
Yeah.
I don't like those gaps in my resume, so I'm going to have to answer this. To get the right man for you, you have to be the right woman.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah. That's what I'm working towards.
He's going to check your resume. You're going to check his resume. And then you start having those conversations. Hey, how do you handle it when you have a disagreement with somebody? That is a great second date question. How do you handle it when you have a disagreement with somebody? How do you handle it when somebody needs something that is inconvenient for you? What do you do? Right? Ask him that. And he's like, good question. Because healthy men are not going to be like, if I answer right, I'm going to be exposed. They're like, no, that's a good question. And he's going to go, well, here's what I do. I tell them that there's a conflict, and then I ask them how we can take care of each other. And we don't compromise on our values, but we can compromise on the way that need gets met. And then we take care of each other. That's how it works. And he'll say, isn't that how relationships work? And you go, yeah, totally. And you will mean it because you have that with your friends. Practice it with friends. That's your resume, your references. Get there with him. Other questions to ask him. Here's a good one. Why have your past relationships not worked out? Really great question for like a third date as you get really deeper in. And yes, he will ask you the same thing. And you will say, in the past, when there was a problem, I tended to look out the window. I didn't know what to do, so I would overthink. I'd try to solve it myself. I hate it. I've promised I will never do that again. So if I overthink things, hey, you call me out immediately because that's something I am really working to resolve. And then he could say, yeah, no, same thing. I overthink things as well. A lot of people do. Here's been mine. Look to see if he starts blaming his exes significantly, or look to see if he's just like, oh, I don't know, it just didn't work out. It just wasn't the fuzzy magic. Or is he like, you know what? In the past, here were some challenges I had. Here are steps I've already been taking to resolve it, right? Look for that. That's going to indicate that, yes, he's probably avoidant, but he's enlightened, he's educated, he's insightful, and he's making those changes. Now he understands the difference. So look for those relationship components. Does he understand what oxytocin feels like? Does he understand what bonding feels like, right? Why have things not worked out? No, a lot of it was my fault. Because I selected wrong and then I acted wrong. And yes, they had their challenges. Understood, but I'm not going to complain about my ex. Here's where I'm doing differently. These are the questions to start asking. Yes, they're really personal. A good man is going to love that you're asking these questions because it means that you're serious about the relationship. Unhealthy men don't want you to ask these questions because it means that you're exposing them. Okay? It's one or the other. You can only attract healthy men or unhealthy men. You cannot appease both. Right now, you're attracting unhealthy ones by making it too easy and not asking any questions. Make sense?
Yeah.
That's it.
Well,
Great question.
Kind of not attracting anyone.
Not attracting anybody. Stay the hell out. Yeah, correct. Yeah, snipers are posted. There's razor wire.
Right.
But that's honestly, that's a reaction because you haven't known how to talk to people properly. You're trying to make sure you don't get hurt, which is understandable. Cool. Any other questions? That was a good one.
I don't.
Feeling good right now?
Yeah.
I threw a lot
A
at
lot
you.
there.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
that's a lot.
Yeah, things will occur to you as you move forward. That's natural.
Mhm.
You know my email. You're welcome to reach out to me and contact me.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll drag you on again for an update or something like that. But go for now. Do your homework. Go talk to your friends and start building that with them. And one last piece.
Mhm.
I want to pitch this to you. After you've done it a couple times, this won't occur to you, so I'm going to say it. You can actually ask them if this is a good change. You can actually say, hey, you know that change we've made where we're talking? How's this relationship feeling from your side? Was that a good change or what? You can actually ask them how things are going and what they would prefer. And that doesn't mean you're enslaved to their answer, but you can actually ask them, is there anything else that needs to change in our relationship? Anything else that you've noticed that I'm off on? Anywhere else that I seem kind of cold? Anywhere else that you would want to know more about me? And you could say, I'm kind of cautious to like tell you too much or anybody or bother anybody. But is there anything from your side that you would want? You can even ask them. I think we're pretty close from my side, but I just want to get a feel for you. Do you think that we are also close, or is there a lot of division between us that I don't see?
Mhm.
You can actually ask those questions. And yes,
Okay.
those sound needy, but asking them from a solution-focused approach, give context. I would love for us to have the best relationship. You actually are a really good friend to me, and I want to protect this relationship. So can you tell me from your side, are things where you want them to be, or is
Mhm.
there anything that's off?
Mhm.
You can actually ask that. You can ask it friendship. You can actually ask it in a romantic relationship. I encourage couples to have a once a week check-in where they say, hey, here's where things are feeling from my side. It's feeling pretty good. Is everything good from your side, or are you seeing anything that we need to adjust this week?
Mhm.
And that is an ongoing continuous improvement in a relationship that's very proactive as well. Solution focused, not needy, but very, very productive.
Yeah, I do. I'm worried that things might take away from a productivity and
Mhm.
not like relationships. When I say things, will take away from productivity in life. And I guess that's something that fear is probably the biggest fear. The fear of taken away from where I can be more productive.
Yep.
And I know you've mentioned in other videos that you've made that will actually increase productivity. I still have a hard time believing that.
I know.
And then I also really struggling with because like I know the importance of need for change, but I really have this strong belief that I don't want to change
Mhm.
because I do think that I'm good.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
and so I do struggle and with trying to change when I don't want to. And I do want to say I do love your videos because you do really talk a lot about, and I think it's probably one of the only channels I think a lot of someone with avoidant tendencies would be able to watch because you are telling me that like I don't need to change, but I need to learn this or that. And I guess that's my biggest struggle of not wanting to change because I do think that I'm good. And
Yeah.
I think it really bothers me when people come out and say someone who's avoidant is behaving narcissistic, or that someone is, just they're not. I'm not trying to change anyone else, and that I'm not trying to. Someone who is more anxious, like I see their value. They're going to make sure that like I have a comfortable home and good things to eat, and so when someone comes at me and says you need to change, I think that's when the walls come up, and I'm just like, absolutely not. Like I'm worried that that's going to be a big hurdle in the future, and not that anyone comes up to me and says that, or has said that, but I perceive them as saying that anytime that they will want something.
Okay, let's address this one last piece because this is big. No, this is not about changing you because you're right. You have great features that we want. The research is pretty clear that avoidant tendencies are actually very helpful for the group once we unify. That caregiving, that risk focus, that awareness, all of that is crucial. We don't want to take that away. We want to optimize you and give you the best version of yourself. Right now, you're not the best version of yourself because, like you came in here, you said you're burned out.
Mhm.
You're running on fumes. You're tired. You're stressed all the time. That's where you're non-optimized. So it's almost like a nutritional deficiency. You're not getting enough iron. You're not getting enough sunlight. You're not getting enough calcium. You're grinding yourself down. That's the oxytocin missing, the serotonin missing, the vasopressin from your relationships. So as we do these changes, yes, it requires some investment. It's just like fixing a nutritional difficulty, where you're like, wow, I feel so much better than I did before. And you're more productive. The pain is going away. Everything feels so much lighter. And then you become like, you're amazed at how much energy you have. And then your productivity goes up. That's why that happens. You're just in a non-optimized state right now. That's survival, but it's not a thriving state. It's not even a productive state. You're operating at maybe 40% capacity, what you can do. The goal here is to get you up to 80 or 90% capacity of what you can do, to double that productivity and to make your quality of life higher during that process, to make your exhaustion so much lower, your rest goes higher, your satisfaction is higher. We do not want to take away the traits that make you amazing. We don't. Yeah. And you won't lose those. You'll actually be more optimized, more content, and more fulfilled. And it will feel better. I know it sounds like I'm promising a pony, but it feels like that, I know, but it will get so significantly better, and you have to feel it to really understand it. So dip your toes in, even small amounts with friends, see what it feels like. See if you want to continue those changes. See if you want to grow. It will freak you out at first, just like the gentleman who's like, I rely on you too much. It will freak out a little bit, but it will feel very good as you go on. Track your productivity, track your mental state, track your exhaustion, track your burnout, track all of those things and see them improve over time. And the last piece is the best person for you will not want you to change. They're going to say, no, don't change. But yes, optimize, be healthier, live longer, be more content. What can I do to enhance you so that you can bring your best parts of yourself into this relationship? They will not want you to change. Never, never, never. Make sense?
Yeah, that's
cool.
important.
And if you ever feel like someone wants you to change, ask, are you asking me to change? Ask them that. Collaborate with them on that. Okay. If they say yes, nope. If they say no, I want to help bring out the best version of you, see if that's really what they want. Work with them on that and see if they're asking you that for your sake or for their own sake. Have those conversations. You can only determine that through questions.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, a lot, yeah.
Wonderful. All right, I am here when you need help. Please, please, please drop me a line. Maybe I'll have you come back for an update. But
thank you.
You've got a lot of homework. Go do it. Your relationships are about to change. I'm excited for you.
I'm excited to try.
Wonderful. Everybody at home, thank you so much for following along with us. I know this has been amazing. So many of you out there, a lot of our audience, you've been asking us, do avoidant women exist? And then there's been an abundance of avoidant women in the comments saying, I know I exist. I know this is my experience, but I don't know if I'm the only one. I hope this has helped you feel not alone. I hope this has helped you feel maybe that you're acceptable. Maybe that nobody out there is going to hit you with a stick when you say, you know what? I don't want to talk about those mushy feelings. I don't want to do all that stuff, but I know I'm missing something. A lot of you guys out there are husbands to avoidant women. I hope this has helped you understand how to care for her needs, how to be patient with her, how to be more loving, and maybe how to have some of these conversations so that you can build together. Remember that I'm here to help. I would love to see you in the comments, hear from you. Please like, comment, subscribe, support the channel, support the podcast, and I'll see you on the next episode.